After the miscarriage took away our only unborn child, I erased every habit that annoyed my husband, Shen Yizhen, the stern and high-ranking criminal police captain. I no longer sent endless messages to ask where he went late at night. I no longer sat by the cold door waiting for his return through cold winter winds and rainy nights. Even if he stayed out all night without a single explanation, I could fall asleep peacefully in the empty bed, without a trace of grievance, longing or restlessness. The heartfelt fondness that had accompanied me for more than 10 years was completely drained by the cold pain of losing my child, leaving only cold indifference in my heart. During a critical anti-drug joint operation, I was shot while covering my teammates to retreat. Lying on the emergency trolley in the corridor, my body aching with gunshot wounds and high fever. The doctor urged me repeatedly to notify my immediate family to sign the critical illness notice. Facing the anxious medical staff, I spoke in an unusually calm tone, without the slightest weakness or panic. I have no immediate family to contact. The young nurse on duty recognized me at once. She had seen me countless times waiting outside the police station with hot meals, silently accompanying Shen Yizhen through every busy night shift. She looked at me in astonishment and said softly, "You are Mrs. Shen, aren't you? Captain Shen is on duty at the adjacent substation right now. Shall I send someone to inform him to come to the hospital immediately?" I shook my head lightly, my eyes dim and calm. "Without any fluctuation, no need. It's just a minor flesh wound. Don't delay Captain Shen's official duties for such a trivial matter." I thought I would recuperate quietly alone in the ward, away from all trivial troubles and emotional entanglements. Yet half an hour later, tall and straight footsteps sounded abruptly in the quiet corridor. Shen Yizhen pushed open the ward door, his police uniform neat and cold, his whole body wrapped in the cold aura of just finishing a dangerous mission. His brows were tightly furrowed, his voice sharp and full of suppressed anger. Staring straight at me on the hospital bed, "You were injured on official duty. Why didn't you take the initiative to contact me at the first time?" I lowered my eyelashes, not daring and not willing to look into his cold eyes. My tone was distant and polite, just like talking to an ordinary, unfamiliar colleague in the police force. "It's not a serious injury. It's not worth disturbing your work schedule and wasting your precious time, Captain Shen." This alienated and perfunctory tone made Shen Yizhen feel inexplicably irritable and flustered in an instant. He had always hated my clinginess, my repeated questioning, my petty tantrums, and my jealous quarrels. He had long wished that I could be sensible, quiet, and non-disruptive. But now that I really became so obedient and indifferent, his heart was blocked by a heavy, dull discomfort. Breathless and helpless, he was just about to reprimand me and ask what Cold War I was playing again, when the casual whispers of passing patrol officers drifted clearly into the ward through the half-open door. "Captain Shen is really too considerate to Miss Shaw. Last night Miss Shaw twisted her ankle while singing at the nightclub in our jurisdiction. Captain Shen dropped his urgent task report halfway, specially dispatched a police car, and personally carried her to and from the car the whole time. He didn't even let her feet touch the cold ground for a second." The chatter was trivial, yet every word pierced Shen Yizhen's heart, and also drew a clear dividing line between me and him. Shen Yizhen's Adam's apple rolled violently, and his heart tightened sharply. He subconsciously glanced at me from the corner of his eye, ready to meet my hysterical questioning and angry quarrel as usual, and even prepared a set of perfunctory excuses to calm me down. But I didn't even tremble my eyelashes. I just leaned quietly against the head of the bed, closed my eyes to rest, and my face was calm like a pool of stagnant water, without a trace of jealousy, grievance, or anger. The atmosphere in the ward suddenly became heavy and awkward, silent and suffocating. After a long while, Shen Yizhen helped me into his private police car, preparing to send me back to the staff dormitory. On the way, he finally spoke in a low voice, forcing out a stiff explanation. "Don't listen to their messy gossip. It's all official work. Georgie is a staff member of the venue under my jurisdiction. She was injured on public premises, so it's my bounden duty as the person in charge to deal with it. It's just work, nothing personal." I just replied with a faint hum. No more questions. No more accusations. No more noisy entanglement. This simple response completely ignited the suppressed irritability in Shani's NS heart. He slammed his fist hard on the steering wheel, his voice sharp and impatient. You just don't trust me, right? Are you still holding grudges and losing your temper with me? Linwan I have already cut off all messy relationships and returned to the family wholeheartedly. What else do you want from me? I looked inferently at the dim streetlight receding rapidly outside the window. My tone lightened emotionals as I trust you completely. I just think my injury is trivial and not worth disturbing your work. Just send me back to the dormitory directly. This mechanical, perfunctory answer made Shen Yi's end more and more manic. The harsh car horn cut through the quiet night, startling all the nightclub staff who had just finished their performances across the road. A thin young girl looked up subconsciously at the sound. The cold winter street lamp fell on her face, and the air in the police car suddenly turned icy cold. It was Shaoji. Shen Yizhen stared at her thin figure, his eyes full of uncontrollable worry. It was freezing cold in the deep winter night. Yet Shaoji only wore a thin performance dress, hugging her arms tightly, her nose red with cold, looking extremely delicate and pitiful. Shen Yizhen's hand instantly grasped the car door handle, eager to get out of the car to comfort her. I saw through his thoughts at a glance, took the initiative to push the car door open, and gave him a perfect step down calmly. If you need to go on a night patrol of the jurisdiction, you can go first. I can walk back to the dormitory alone. It's very close. Without waiting for his response, I turned and walked towards the road intersection without hesitation. Shen Yizhen quickly chased after me, grabbed my wrist tightly, his voice flustered and anxious, eager to defend himself. I have long had nothing to do with her. I had no idea she would be here tonight. Why can't you be more reasonable and trust me once? I nodded cooperatively, my expression calm and sincere. I believe you. It's not easy for a young girl to make a living outside alone. Even if you've broken off contact, it's normal to care about her safety out of kindness. I fully understand and support you. Shen Yizhen stared at my face closely, trying to find a trace of disguise, grievance or anger in my eyes. But he found nothing but thorough indifference. He suddenly felt a deep unease. He recalled the past I used to have strong possessive desire and sharing desire. Even a strange strand of long hair on his police uniform would make me cry and question him all night long. Now I was as sensible as he had always expected, but his heart was stuffed with cold cotton, heavy and suffocating. I gently pulled my wrist out of his grip, turned around and left without looking back. When I walked to the street corner, I stopped and glanced back faintly. Under the dim street lamp beside the police car, Shen Yizhen had already taken off his thick police uniform coat and put it on his shoulders. Then he held her cold face and kissed her deeply, unlingering lie. My heart was completely calm, without a trace of pain or collapse. I'd expected this scene a long time ago. I would no longer go crazy like in the past, questioning him with red eyes and tears. Shen Yizhen, I was 18 when I followed you. We endured hardships together from scratch. How could you betray me like this? Back then, I scratched his face in anger, but he only looked at me coldly and sneered. You have no right to make trouble. Your parents abandoned you. The orphanage didn't want you. I raised you for more than 10 years, and you should be grateful to me forever. That sentence shattered all the more than 10 years of deep feelings and shared hardships between us. A mobile phone vibration pulled me back from the painful memories. It was an official notice from the police station. My biological martyr parents' relics and pension procedures were fully approved. I covered the faint wrist scar left by the suicide attempt and replied calmly, I will go through the procedures in 10 days. My divorce application will also be approved in 10 days. The staff sighed and persuaded me not to divorce after years of companionship. I only replied, I don't love him anymore. I just want to leave this place forever. Back to the dormitory. I saw the old wedding photo on the wall. In the photo, we were young and affectionate, leaning closely together. We both grew up in the same orphanage. When I was 18, the director wanted to sell me to an old man in the mountains. Shen Yizhen risked everything to climb over the wall and take me away, vowing to protect me for a lifetime. He used all his savings to rent a dilapidated small house, worked hard to join the police force, and promised to give me a stable home. We shared a bowl of instant noodles for the new year and the hardest days, depended on each other through every dangerous mission. Later, his police rank got higher and higher, but his heart drifted farther and farther away from me. I found lipstick marks on his collar, and he perfunctorily said it was an accidental rub. We quarreled endlessly. He simply cheated openly to anger me, and I was trapped in the relationship, unable to let go. A year ago, he suddenly broke off all ambiguous relationships, only keeping Xiaoxi by his side. I found that Xiaoxi looked exactly like my young appearance. That night, I cut my wrist in despair. Shen Yizhen rushed back in panic, swore to be loyal to me, but turned around and hugged Xiaoxi secretly, saying he would wait for me to stabilize, then give her a formal identity. At that moment, the last trace of affection in my heart was completely broken. I decided to divorce and transfer away quietly. I planned to return our first shared dormitory to the logistics department, but when I arrived, I found the door ajar. Inside, Shen Yizhen and Xiaoxi were lingering intimately, his wedding ring still worn on his finger. I closed the door calmly, refused the young policewoman's suggestion to report the matter, and turned to leave without making a scene. Shen Yizhen chased me out in panic, making clumsy excuses. Suddenly, a fire broke out in the dormitory. He suspected I did it, accused me of being cruel, and rushed in to save Xiaoxi without hesitation. I suddenly remembered my divorce documents and my parents' monitor files were locked in the safe inside. Regardless of the fire and smoke, I rushed in to protect the documents. The burning chandelier fell down. I was injured all over with bone fractures and severe burns. After waking up in the hospital, Shen Yizhen only blamed me for being reckless, said he saved Xiaoxi because she was weak, and continued to excuse his ambiguous relationship. He claimed to return to the family, but still cared about Xiaoxi everywhere. He sent daily condolences but never stayed to take care of my serious injuries. When I was discharged alone, I met Xiaoxi and her mother in the hospital hall. Xia's mother was unreasonable and rude, insulting and baiting me in public. Shen Yizhen stopped me from fighting back, begging me to give in because Xia's mother had a bad heart. He even took out my psychological medical record to prove I was emotionally unstable, shielding Xia's mother and leaving me behind in full view of everyone. My heart was completely dead. I packed my luggage silently, watched Xiaoxi show off Shen Yizhen's coat on social media, and blocked all contact without hesitation. A police car carrying Shen Yizhen and Xiaoxi passed by my taxi at the dormitory gate. We drove in opposite directions, completely parting ways. I went to Haicheng alone, where the deputy police chief told me the truth. My biological parents were heroic anti-drug martyrs who sacrificed for the country. I chose to take over my parents' unfinished career, stayed in the anti-drug police force, and started a new life without Shen Yizhen. Half a year later, Shen Yizhen came to Haicheng to look for me. Haggard and exhausted, he refused to sign the divorce papers, sincerely apologized, said he had driven Xiaoxi away, and begged me to start over. I recalled our life minus death friendship in the early years, then told him calmly he only got used to my company, not loved me. Habit is crueler than not loving. The moment he chose to protect Xiaoxi and abandon me, there was no turning back for us. Later, I took the most dangerous undercover anti-drug mission, deep into the drug den, fighting bloody battles alone. I sent out core intelligence at the critical moment, and was rescued by reinforcements. I was awarded the first class merit medal, inheriting my parents' glory. Shen Yizhen was only hundreds of kilometers away, but was not allowed to participate in the rescue due to emotional instability. He sent divorce papers and a short apology note, which I threw away directly. 3 years later, I became the youngest female senior police officer in the area. I paid homage to my parents at the tomb, living up to their expectations. Shen Yizhen stood far away under the tree, watching me silently, with no chance to approach. I looked forward firmly, stepped into the car, and headed for new missions and a bright future. The past love and pain all turned into dust, blown away by the wind, never to be recalled again.